Overwatch as a game is incredibly special to me. I wasn't the kind of kid that was allowed to play Call of Duty. The only game I really got to play that was cool was Halo, and I only got to play that when I snuck out to my friend's house to play it. Mom, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry. But for all intents and purposes, Overwatch was the first FPS I really got to play. I would play it on my brother's account on his computer until I finally got my own during the first Christmas the game was out for. And I kept playing the game on his computer as I did not own one myself. I fucking loved it. Overwatch was my shit, and hilariously, I was only allowed to play an hour a day at first, and that was hell, let me tell you. I lived in a constant state of craving more Overwatch. In truth, it's probably part of the reason I loved it so much. Not to mention, it hit me right as I started to go through some heavy shit, so it was one of my few escapes from the real world. So when Overwatch started to die, it was awful. There are few things more distressing than watching something that you genuinely care about fall apart slowly. And then with all the things coming out about Blizzard and Bobby Kotick, and the fact that he's still the fucking CEO, how is that happening? I don't feel like I can truly appreciate the beta for Overwatch 2 as much as I would like to, but I badly want to support the developers, as they made something that arguably helped keep me alive during my middle school years. Now let's get into how I feel about Overwatch 2 and its trajectory. I had the pleasure of playing the first wave of the beta and now the second, and I have to say that the game is much more fun than the current state of Overwatch 1. In fact, currently my only complaint about the Overwatch 2 itself is the ridiculous queue times. Waiting 10 to 15 minutes just to play the new tank for like 5-10 minutes is ridiculous, but that's to be expected with it being a beta, I suppose. I will say that the queue times are so long that I found myself swapping to Overwatch 1 craving more of Overwatch 2, only to find that the reason I'm enjoying Overwatch 2 is that it isn't Overwatch 1. It is confidence-inducing that the beta is already better than the original, but before I sing too many praises, let me quickly just say that this is all stuff that they should have been doing for the last couple years, but instead, we have to wait for the sequel that's not really a sequel, but just essentially a big O update in order to play a functional version of the game I once loved. Hello? Is this okay? But besides that mild breakdown, let me talk about the things they've improved upon about Overwatch 1 already. They have removed nearly every obnoxious stun and horrible mechanic from the game, restricting it to a much more tolerable amount. A lot of what Overwatch 2 has done in terms of reworking older characters is to make them more viable in a 5v5 setting, as that's another big change they've made. Overwatch was built for 6v6, so this swap to 5v5 is a little odd at first, but I really do think that it changes the game for the better. There are still some tweaks that need to be made to make some heroes fit more, like Hamster Ball Man, but I hope that upon the release in October this will be an afterthought. Now, what makes me the most excited for the future of Overwatch 2 is how fucking fun the new heroes are. Sojourn is grantedly similar to Soldier, but she's more mobile and about zipping around the map. Not to mention she requires more skill than Old Man 76. She's definitely terrifying in the right player's hands. Junker Queen is definitely a highlight in the Overwatch roster. I've always thought the tanks in Overwatch were never the most fun to play, but Junker Queen is a treat to kick ass with, and kick ass she does. Boom, knife throw, pull him to ya, slice him in half with your axe of death, shotgun shell to the temple, an incredibly satisfying combo, let me tell ya. She just feels more powerful. Her survivability makes her all the more fun to play. If you are landing those axe hits and knife throws, you gain back health at a decent speed. The more people you hit with them, the more you heal. And yes, the easy comparison is that she's similar to Roadhog, but I really don't think it's for lack of creativity. She plays so differently to him that I think she's an excellent addition to the roster. And I look forward to playing her even more when the October release rolls around. Seeing how excellent these new heroes are gives me a lot of hope for Overwatch 2. It's reignited that love of seeing what the Overwatch devs can create, and with the quality of cinematics only improving, the lore we get with each new drop makes the characters all the more exciting to play. I'm optimistic for Overwatch 2's future, but I'm still nervous. Let's talk about some of their slightly more controversial decisions. They're removing loot boxes in favor of the Battle Pass model, and I'm going to be honest, I've never been the biggest fan of Battle Passes, more so the FOMO aspect getting on my nerves than anything else. As someone with a horrible ADHD problem, when a game is expecting me to sink 10 hours a week into that one game, it's just not something I can do easily. So my only hope is that leveling up the battle pass doesn't take too much of my time. I love battle passes as a concept. Being to earn extra loot by playing the game is wonderful, and I understand that this is the industry standard at the moment. It still gives me some worry that this could fall down the Halo Infinite path, especially with how selfish Activision Blizzard has been as of late, with Diablo Immortal as a prime example. More selfish than normal, that is. So please, Blizzard, care about your consumers for once, please. Lastly, for those of you that don't know, the October release date is purely for the PvP, so we won't see jack diddly squat from the PvE until 2023, which is a shame. I'm definitely most excited to see what that has in store, which I imagine I'm not alone in. So in conclusion, I'm cautiously hyped for Overwatch 2. I love the series, and I wish the developers the best. And Daddy Jeff Kaplan, if you're still out there, we miss you, and I hope you're doing really well. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Drop a subscribity-doo-dah if you're feeling it. Maybe tap that like button if you so please. It's completely your choice, of course. I would never force you to do anything that you don't want to do. I'm not a monster, of course. That would be hilarious if I were to like threaten you into subscribing so that you had to imagine that. I hope your day is going gloriously. You're sexy. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And if they do, stab them 28 times with a knife. Now, have a wonderful day and don't fucking die. If you die, I'll eat the toenails on your other foot, bitch. Yeah, that's right. Ship it.